What's up, guys, and welcome to the weekly watch list video. Market's about to close in about 30 minutes, so I just wanted to get this out to you. Wife's birthday this weekend, so I'm going to be busy and want to get it out to you early. So if we take a look at SPX, keep this very simple, right? We had a daily squeeze, we had a buy signal, and now we're firing off to the upside. Okay, so we put in new all-time highs. If we look at the retracements here, we have potential to make it up into 5,800. Now, only warning sign with this is that only warning sign is that the S&P or next week is historically a bearish week, so we do need to watch out for that. But when we have things like Apple showing this great of strength, it's hard to be bearish on the market, right? So like you can see here, weekly candle, bullish engulfing, right, bouncing right off that 21 EMA, okay? And we've got this slingshot squeeze. It's got strength. This thing looks like it's ready to head higher. And any of the things that are in a squeeze right now, this has the highest strength. Okay. So, or second highest behind FI, which this is not tradable. This is too far extended and not something we want to play. Another thing that looks great here that I think is on the path to $300. Didn't take my entry yesterday, kind of kicking myself for that today, but you can see we have this daily squeeze. We're getting a buy signal. Everything looks great. And when you see here, we had a pullback to the 21, and which was support as well. And got bought up from there and are seeing a nice move today as a result. So that's McDonald's. Another one that I'm interested in is Amgen. Now, I want to see a pullback on this one. You can see I've got a limit order here just as like kind of a reminder. So if we get a pullback into the support, I get filled. I can go look at it and see if it's something I want to add to, so on and so forth. So I have a limit order sitting there just as like a reminder. And basically what I'm looking for is if we can get a pull back to this area. I would like to go long there. We're pushing up against resistance, so I am waiting on this one. I'm not jumping the gun, so I'm just going to be patient on that. Another one is Netflix. This one has a weekly squeeze and has shown some buy signals in the past couple months. And so next thing is that we're pushing up over 700. So looks pretty good for continued upside. And we have earnings next month, so we could see a run in earnings. So Netflix looks good. Let's take a look at the sectors real quick, and we'll rank these out. Okay, so you can see gold is at the top of the list. If we take a look at that real quick, we had a position in this. We got in back in here, and this had a great move upside. We just cashed out of our put credit spreads for about 75 or 78%. And so right now, I'm not going to touch it. But if we do get a pullback and we can look for another entry, because this should continue to run because we have this weekly squeeze and it's firing off to the upside. So this one has a lot more room to go. I don't know how much more before somewhat of a pullback, but weekly squeezes, they tend to run. So you can see here was a weekly squeeze, got a nice push up. That wasn't that crazy, but then you can see this one here, this weekly squeeze here, this weekly squeeze here. So it's a very, when it moves essentially. So we can continue through. Another one that looks pretty bullish is KO, and this has to do. Oh, this is Costco, but KO. Reason being is because this sector XLP is setting up in a daily squeeze. So this one is in a daily squeeze. It is basically just setting up right now. We take a look at like maybe the 4 hour. 4 hour doesn't look that great, but we're on the back of a weekly squeeze. This sector is extended, but it does look pretty strong. So it is something that's in a strong trend and will likely continue higher. You can see we had buy signals here, which ended up pushing us higher. If we take a look at other sectors here, right now it's looking like XRT, BTO, really the only thing setting up at the moment. So XRT, let's take a look at this. XRT. Okay, so this one, chop mode, right? But we do have this weekly squeeze. So at some point, this may fire off to the upside. I think it looks pretty good for upside. It's just a matter of waiting. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Let's continue through here. So Costco has earnings, so we're gonna skip that one. Looks pretty good. And then immediate opportunities into next week. One thing that's at top of mind right now is we did have a really nice trade in Google. It was 92% overnight. And this was the trade we entered into. And now it looks to be setting up again. I don't love it as much here. If I pull this over, I don't love it as much here just because we have a lot of resistance up here. So the resistance from this retracement here, and then similar story there. So maybe we take the retracements here and let's see what it looks like. There we go. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Okay, so we've got some support here. I think it may just clog up the lines a little too bit or too much. Let's remove that. Yeah, so we could see a push up into that 164. So let's keep an eye on this one because I do like this one going into the end of the day. This could be a solid swing opportunity just into next week. So let's keep an eye on that. That's the main one there. Look at the 30-minute Home Depot. This one looks like it's setting up as well. BX, this one looks good as well. So these are a lot of different opportunities going into next week. BX, little extended. Let's see, how's Home Depot looking? Little extended, but we are so close to that all-time high or that previous high right there. So if we take a look, yeah, that's not all-time high, but previous high. So that one looks good going into next week. Oracle, not really a fan of that chart. AXP looks pretty solid. So that one looks good as well. Let's see. So a good bit of banks are setting up. So you can see here WFC is setting up. I think you may want to go with a bank here or financials or potentially just go with Home Depot. This one looks really good too. So let's take a look at XLY first. XLY, this looks pretty good, setting up in a slingshot squeeze. So that looks pretty good. Let's go with, what's another one? XHB is also relevant. This one does not look as good. You can see we had a nice 30-minute squeeze off of that one. End of day. Okay, so for HD, I think this looks solid. Its sector is the S&P, or sorry, the XLY. So this one looks good. Seems to be setting up in a nice squeeze. That looks good. AXP, that one looks good too. There's a lot of strength in that name. And then Google. So I think Google has the best looking consolidation pattern right now. And then Home Depot just looks really good. Just has some good strength here. So I think this one's off the back of a daily squeeze. This weekly squeeze has not even fired yet. So we've got earnings a while away. But other than that, charts look great. And then, so these are opportunities that if you catch this video before, the market close, you can take that or look at these. But I think those are some really solid opportunities there. Let's take a look at CRM. Not a fan of that one because the daily chart is just not that good looking. How's the monthly chart look? Monthly chart doesn't look bad. So, but that weekly chart looks like it could be setting up for a reversal. Some other ones, let's see. Let's take a look how XLC is setting up as well. So XLC looks good too. It's got a squeeze. Let's see how Meta looks. Meta, absolute monster. It's not even pulling back to the 21 and setting up a squeeze. That's pretty crazy. So nice looking chart there off this weekly squeeze, heading up to that 618. And yeah, so those are the main setups I'm looking at. Couple other things I'm looking at are ABBV. So this one we are currently in. I'm looking for, if I go to, we've got this daily squeeze, right? We've got these early entry signals. I need us to get back above the 21. Yeah, the momentum looks slightly bearish, but I'm looking for it to turn. And a big reason is because we are getting this, we're kind of building a base at this support here around 192. And then this 1272 extension. And then also we are I'm looking for this ready aim. It's two aims, so I'm looking for this to give me a buy trigger here. Now, so here's the last time that we got one right there. We got one right there, and aim right there, and then aim right there, and it ended up being very solid moves. So that's essentially what I'm looking for here. And then we've got the ready here. So I'm looking for that to continue and momentum to continue the upside here. And yeah, so that's the trade for this one. It's great risk to reward trade. I'm looking for, if we cut below here, cut below that support level and then target here, we're looking at like a pretty solid move, like from, so about a $6-7 move up into 200, which is a psych level. And from there, if we don't get that, we can get, if we have a pullback, so it's a 2-to-1 risk to reward. Another one that I'm looking at is NVIDIA. So my thought process is, okay, if NVIDIA can rally, then the rest of the market, or the market's not going to rally without NVIDIA. Okay, that's pretty much my thought process behind this. So what I'm seeing here is, you can see we have a buy signal. We're getting early entry signals here. We've got an inside bar. And essentially what I'm looking for is, we came down to this 50% retracement, and that's where we picked up our position. And I'll just cut it below the weekly 21 if it doesn't end up moving in our favor. But I think if it can get above 120, we should at least see a move to 130. And then ultimately, I'm thinking if this squeeze can fire off to the upside, then we should get a move up into 140. I have January expiration, so I'm not worried about anything happening in the next few days. This is just like, I'm risking about $10 to make $8 to make about 25. So it's a great risk to reward trade. So that's my reasoning behind that one. So one other thing I'd like to mention before I hop off. Google. XLC looks great, right? But also we have to note that we're getting a buy signal here on the weekly time frame, a reversal signal on the weekly as well. And then on top of that, we broke above the trailing stop. And now we've got this 30-minute squeeze that we're printing. And it's like, okay, what, we could see a pretty nice move up into 165 here. So I do like the idea of Meta for, or Google for a longer term reversal. And so I'm going to check out that idea here soon. So I hope this helps. And those are kind of the main things I'm watching into next week. I hope this helps. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next week.